All right. What's up, you guys? Sales Bro Pod. I think this is episode 23. And this time around, we got Mr. Jordan Worth. What's going on, Jordan?
Hey man, just living life down in Mexico, enjoying it, and yeah, doing sales day to day. I guess that's why I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah. Jordan, for the context for the audience, Jordan, when I started my community back in the day, like he was like one of the OG members, and we've definitely gotten to know each other pretty well. So I'm hyped to have him on. Jordan, what are you up to like right now?
Right now, my main offer I'm closing on is with Plan Ascension. So I know you've had Jay on. Don't know if you had David on as well, but yeah, a
Hmm.
couple guys from there, and yeah, that's day to day, and yeah, and then picking up a couple of side hustles as we go, basically making sure that I'm getting as much money as possible from this career. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, taking it back a little bit, you didn't start a lot of the guys in high ticket sales, like they start in high ticket sales, but you did not start in high ticket sales. You used
Yeah.
to run an agency. What did your agency do?
We were doing Facebook ads, so paid ads for e-commerce brands. Yeah, when back in 2018 finished uni and just didn't, being from the UK, if you can tell by the accent, was staring out at grey skies and was like, fuck this, and went off to Thailand to basically listen to podcasts. A lot of people out there doing digital stuff. So, mm, wait, sorry, you might have to mash this up. I'm not sure what's happening with the camera now, but I know you said, sorry, I don't know. I'm sure you're going to. Okay, all good. Sorry, man, it came up that I was like offline for a second. Yeah, so I'll start again. So basically, 2018, finished uni, bored of staring out of grey skies in England, and was listening to a podcast to go off to Thailand to see what people were doing on there, because it was the hub of people doing things online before the pandemic. From there, yeah, started doing some Facebook marketing, grew an agency from there, and then basically preferred the sales side of it to anything else. So uh,
Hmm.
sold the company last year, and yeah, kind of started a couple of side hustle gigs as well without really knowing it was high ticket closing. And then yeah, started following a few
Hmm.
people on Twitter, one of which was yourself, and yeah, basically from there it was just like it's better to learn from people than kind of like stab in the dark. So yeah, just invested in serial sales and yeah, great ROI to
Let's
this
go.
day. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. When you ran the agency, you did you have like a co-founder or partners?
Yeah, did at the time. And
Okay.
yeah, they were focused more on the fulfillment. From the off, I was more interested in sales, which really helped kind of
Right.
progress my path into what I'm doing now.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you like how did you find that you liked sales more? Like what what were you doing, like marketing and sales, or just like really sales?
As when the agency started, instead of moving from like a freelance kind of position, straight away I just knew from doing it that I preferred the sales side of things. And yeah, just playing to my strengths there. And yeah, done a little bit of Facebook marketing, but yeah, as the agency grew, it was very evident what my strengths were. And so yeah, just stuck with that,
Hmm.
mate, and then moved from there.
Yeah. Why'd you decide to go more of like the sales rep route after selling the agency versus starting another one up?
To be honest, I the fulfillment side, I just fucking dealing with clients and shit. Once they're signed, it's nice and easy. But yeah, that side
Yeah.
of it, I was just a bit like, okay, let's take a break. And as well, being transparent, working with Facebook, a lot of it's out of your control nowadays with like Zuckerberg just changing the algorithms and things. And it was quite nice to just be on it that I'm not constantly thinking 24 hours a day about the business. I mean, don't get me wrong, as time's moved on, I took my little break. I'm starting to invest in little ideas here and there and yeah, put my input where I can. But yeah, for the whole
Yeah.
journey, it was also, do you want to start an agency, have the overheads, have everything going on, or know really tangible what your profit is coming in, which is kind of sales. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of a no-brainer move in there.
Yeah. Did you have a like any sort of sales background before starting up the agency?
I'd say I'd done a little bit in recruitment, which is quite common. I don't know if it's the same in the States, but you can't finish uni, go into recruitment because
Yeah.
the money is going to be better. And yeah, from there, yeah, started the agency, and you can't wing it with a lot of these things. Like it's like I was going through puberty again, boys going up and down on like early sales calls with people who probably weren't even qualified at the time. But yeah, it was just all an experience, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it's done me a lot of good being able to be my own test, my own guinea pig, I guess, in that sense. But yeah, it was yeah, only marginal amounts. It was just a case of being able to leverage whatever we'd done before with our case studies and being able to move forward with that.
Cool. So you got like in this whole online business space, you said was it 2018? Or that's when you sold? No.
2019 we started the business. 2018 was when I just started traveling with my backpack and hardly any money in the bank.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, I don't know what was that like. So you said you graduated university, you got like the recruiting job, but like, what's what's that been like? Because a lot of guys, I'd imagine, listening to this, like they haven't been doing it for 4 or 5 years like you have. So overall, dude, what's your take on living that kind of online money lifestyle? How's it treated you so far?
Yeah, without sounding like too geeky or anything obnoxious, like I remember, I don't know if it's still so common, but there's a book called 4 Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and basically
Mhm.
he talks a lot about socioeconomics, and if you can earn bad money in a first world country, it's good money in a third world country, and so on and so forth. So kind of doing it, if you can get into the online space one way or another, if you live somewhere where the cost of living is a lot cheaper, your money lasts a lot more. Like there's people who I met in Thailand making $3,000 a month who are saving more money than people back home who are kind of making double, triple that. So it's just something where for
Yeah.
me that was always a big thing. So if you can get into it one way or another, because as well, starting out, lowest barrier of entry for me was actually teaching Chinese kids online, which I fucking hated. But I could live off £1,500. Don't know if that's $2,000 or something, but yeah, like if you can do
Yeah.
it, just getting online, being able to use that. If traveling and getting out of your country is a big thing, then yeah, I'd say get away from the analysis paralysis. Just do it and make it work as you go.
Yeah. Do you ever plan on going back to like were you in London
Yeah, close enough to
or the
London,
UK?
but yeah,
Okay.
never to live basically. Like, yeah, just it's not the say life path that I'm looking to take. For me, yeah, like I
Yeah.
love focusing on my career, but that whole kind of like buy a house, family, and all
Yeah.
that shit, just one for me kind of thing, rather than tacos and tequila at the moment seem a lot more on my level. So
Yeah, dude. What I'm curious, like I know you're in Mexico City now and like, you enjoy it pretty well, but like Thailand versus Mexico, like which one's better?
it's a it's a yeah, it's a great question. Straight off the bat, I've got to say it. Thailand is better, but if you're working in the online sales space, which a lot of people who listen to this, I'm guessing they either do or want to, the money's in the
Yeah.
United States, and the way of living. If you're living in the same time zone, I'm working. Yeah, my hours. I start at 8, finish at 4. It's
Yeah.
relatively nice that way, rather than you got to think more about the geographics if you're out there and you're working
Hmm.
at 3 in the morning. But the way of living, everything is unreal. If you can do it in Southeast Asia and work for a company more Asia time zone, Australasia time zone, or Oceania, depending on what you say, yeah, it would be
Yeah.
great. But yeah, like anyone who is looking to do that life can hit me up, or if they're ever in Mexico, we go out for a tequila and can talk them through it as well.
Yeah. Every time I meet someone in this online space that's like in Mexico, but they're not from there, they're like traveling. I'm like, oh, dude, I know a guy in Mexico. He's in Mexico City. He loves it. Like, you always come up when I meet someone who's doing that.
Yeah.
But anyways, man, getting into let's see, you sold the agency
Mm-hmm.
and then you kind of had like a clean slate. I bet it was pretty refreshing. After, let's say, like the day after you sold the agency, like what'd you do? Were you thinking just like you were just hanging out for a bit? I don't know if you were already in Mexico or you were like,
Yeah.
I got to do the next thing, or how'd that play out?
Yeah, I was out here. Like the day after everything was signed off, I was just, yeah, ecstatic. I took probably a week off. And then just through my network, like people are messaging all the time. I'm sure it's the same for yourself or most people in the space. And essentially, one guy said to me about the business, said, "Oh, I've just got rid of it." They asked what I was doing and they asked if I could do some sales for them. And again, no idea this was a profession even. I'm just doing it, like taking
Yeah.
a bit of commission off the top just to keep me going. Yeah, then got offered quite a lucrative job actually in working in basically something to do with fuel, but sending it to Mexico, and then the whole, let's not make it too political, but war happened with Ukraine, so the like the arrivals and stuff got messed up. So then got into this, and to be fair, yes, it all worked out for whatever reason, and that was around the time when all the all the customs kind of changed and all the pricing changed. That I saw you on Twitter, and yeah, signed up, and then just I mean, from there, after our first meeting, I think I had interviews like 2-3 days afterwards because you just gave me the action plan of what to do, and then started from there. And yeah, rest was history
Yeah.
from that moment.
Yeah. And I feel like with high ticket sales, like, dude, it's not rocket science. Like, it does help if you kind of have guidance, but like, I feel like it's definitely more about knowing what to look out for, like what to stay away from than what to try and look for, you know?
Mm.
Because like I know you've been on, a few different offers before the one you're currently on. Not all of them panned out, similar to myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's just part of the game, man.
Mm-hmm.
But you just have to like be around the right people to know that that's part of the game. And then, ideally, if you are around the right people, you can avoid some of it. Probably not all of it. Like no matter who you're around, dude, if you're in this space, you're gonna land in something that probably isn't for you at some point or another.
Mm.
But yeah, I remember you when you got that gig and you were working. I didn't know what ended up happening to it. I didn't know the whole like Ukraine thing affected that. But
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah, man,
yeah, that
eventually,
that was an interesting one. But yeah, I mean, similar to what you're saying, like kind of like what you're looking for, like what you should be doing, who you should be talking to, things like that. Like, I mean, I'm pretty shit when it comes to social media compared to some of the guys out there when it comes to like Twitter and
yeah,
stuff. But kind of like joining communities where people know what they're talking about, and it's something where I think I've said to people in serious sales before, like if you can give as much as you can without expecting anything back, it comes back to you tenfold in that way. So if you can build in these micro communities away from massive
yeah,
social media billion-dollar businesses, like like you're going to be able to grow in the right way as long as you're leveraging that network as well.
yeah. Dude, that's huge, and that's something I noticed from you is like you contribute, and you still do like a lot whenever you have the time. And I mean, one, not only does it make the community a better place for everyone, but it strengthens your relationships within that. And now, like, dude, if you came to me or like probably 10 other people in there and you're like, guys, I need a job. The last one I had didn't work out. I need a job. Like, you would have something in 48 hours for sure.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's as I said, like it's something where there's the benefits there, and you've just got to be able to be selfless in that beginning to be able to give what you can, and yeah, and then it does reap the rewards from that. So yeah, I'm bloody
yeah,
glad I did at this point because yeah, it turned out to be the right career path for me, and yeah, everything that comes with it. So yeah,
yeah,
good stuff.
yeah. What's it like? I mean, I wasn't gonna say it, but you said it. So like the client ascension team, you're on there, and you're
Yeah.
around some pretty like competent guys. Like,
Mm.
what's it like working on a team like that where these guys are all, It's not like a traditional sales job, but it is a lot more structured than I'd say than a lot of like other high ticket sales roles. Like, what's your experience like working with some killers like that?
Yeah, it's something where, I mean, like for me, talking about me, I love it because you're always learning. Like I've got people in the team reviewing my calls because they love sales. That's what they do. And being able to then get that feedback from
Hmm.
there, like closing percentage from a year ago to now, like closing above 30% month in, month out, like some months 40%. Incredible. So it's something where
Hmm.
kind of if I think when people look at sales, they look at the shit like Wolf of Wall Street and think it's all cutthroat and whatnot. But like, yeah, when you can put your ego at the door and be humble enough to know there's people out there who are going to do things differently to you and you can learn from that, then it's only going to make everyone a lot more money along the way, which is something with Client Ascension. Learning from the best people in the game for what they're doing is, yeah, it's amazing to be part of it. And luckily, I'm doing all right and I haven't been fired yet, so all good.
Yeah. Yeah, I've sold on teams that were like very competitive, and then I've sold on teams that are more of just like I'm the guy, and there's no management, there's no nothing, and I much prefer like having that like friendly competitive environment. Like, dude, I mean, sure, some of these guys are just like psychos, like they can just go hard all the time by themselves when nobody's watching, but like
Mm,
dude, in sales when there's ups and downs, like it helps a lot to have those teammates to like talk shit to you when they win or like whenever you need to pick it up or
mm-hmm.
like they close a deal and you're like, damn, like I wish, now I got to close a deal. So,
Yeah.
um, I'm on a team like that right now, and it's been really fun. And funny enough, like I found it through the community, like I mean my community, but there's like 5 or 6 other guys from the community on this
Mm,
team with me, and they were hired in before me. Well, some of them, and so I saw what they were doing, and I was like, dude, I want to be a part of that. Like, let's go. And
mm.
then I got on. So
Yeah.
I love the competitive environment like that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like kind of if there's a deal closed or if not, there's always a bit of banter and yeah, if we have the monthly
Yeah.
competition, but as well, it's something where as much as there's that, earlier this week, I've jumped on a call with the sales manager for us and watched him close a deal and being able to do that, even though there's the competition there, to be able to get that secret sauce and see how someone else does it. Yeah, like you're only going to grow from shit like that, which is yeah going to just benefit well the employer
Yeah.
and my bank account. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah. That's funny you said that. Is Dan the sales manager? Yeah.
Yeah,
Or is this okay? Yeah,
yeah,
he's.
yeah,
I'm supposed to have him on the next episode.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, he's coming on next week.
I just try and recommend him to
So
try
I've
and
had.
pronounce some hard names to pronounce. That's always fun on our Friday sales team to try and see him go across some of the calls. But yeah,
That's funny. I'm trying to connect the Infinity Stones, bro. I've had Jay, I've had David, I've got you. I'm getting Dan. So, but yeah, no, I think like it's not anyone can just hop on the sales team like that. Like you got to know something, you got to be pretty good, have some results under your belt. So you guys have tons of value to share, and a lot of people listening to this, they're some are new, some are experienced, some are in the agency game. Like
mm.
everyone who's I assume they're listening for a reason, can benefit from insight from all of you guys. So super cool. um I did want to ask you a little bit about transitioning, like, so what you guys are selling now, it is like a more of a done with you solution, right? The main offering.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say main so much anymore in the sense that like it was the initial offering, but with any good offer, with any good owners, I think they'll see a space in the market that can be capitalized on. And yeah, like working with the guys, the management there, the owners, they're geniuses. So yeah, it was done with you. We've got done for you now. Do it yourself. There's a lot to be offered from just the knowledge that they have.
Yeah.
But yeah, done with you was what I came on initially with, and they've been working on the background, and we've just rolled out a done for you and do it yourself program as well.
Cool. I wanted to ask because I know you sold a little bit of B2C
Mm-hmm.
when you came into this space, right?
Yeah.
With it was like a sales deal.
Mm.
Um, but it seems like you've mostly sold B2B in this high ticket sales space. Like, do you prefer B2B?
I think yes, and the reason being is that a lot of people that you might sell to in B2C space, again, it depends on the offer, but it's going to be purchasing decisions
Right.
that they've not made before, and being able to try and yeah, convince someone of that. Of course, that's part of being a closer. But when you're dealing with business owners, successful business owners, or people who want to be successful, their mind's always on ROI rather than people trying to dip their toe into the pool, which seems a bit more B2C in my experience. But yeah, I prefer
Yeah.
B2B.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at too. And I think the main reason why I'm there is I think once you have that base level skill set, like you just have more leverage with B2B because you can charge more.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd rather take less sales calls and make more per call than like take 10 sales calls a day. You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah,
I've had that phase before, but I'm not really quite there. Like I don't really want to be there anymore. It's a time and a place, I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah, exactly that. Like I think it's kind of there's less there's a financial objection, but it's a different financial objection. It's not on maturity of making financial decisions. It's if you can connect the dots and it seems right to them, which of course you're there to do, make sure that it is a good fit and yeah, move forward that way when it's B2B. And yeah, B2C is just a much more less convince them emotionally as well as everything else, which yeah, it's just if you're doing that for 10 hours a day, as you said, by the end of the day, you don't want to talk to anyone. So.
Dude, it's rough, dude. It's rough. I remember there was a time before you were on the team you're on now, and you were I don't know if you had like 2 or 3 gigs stacked, and your calendar was like nuts.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, dude, like I've been there. It's not. It's it's like I feel like I don't even sure you can make money, but I feel like because I'm doing so much, like my quality is diminished,
Mm.
and it's like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Like most times, no. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I think as well, it goes down to the offer. Like, nothing against the offer I was on B2C, but it was a daily sales call. Go over it. It was very much being English. It was a lot of American selling. You can do it. You're the best. Like, you're doing that on the call. And like, there's people on the call and they're saying, oh, yeah, I work at McDonald's part time. I'm 16. Nothing wrong with that. But then they don't, like, you very quickly find out they don't have 8K to throw down. But if you try and financially disqualify them, then the sales manager's on your back. And like, it's something where offers like that, not so much. If you can get them out of the call if they're not ready for it, perfect. But going through the whole spiel and then getting to
Yeah.
the end knowing they can't afford it and having to go across, oh, have you thought about a credit card? Have you done this? Have you done that? Okay, I get it. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's something where it was a lot more draining.
It's dude, I just hate having to like it's like these people inquire on your service, your coaching program, and then you're having to like bend their arms backwards. And a lot of times it's because the right expectations weren't set because you know the offers are trying to funnel as many people in.
Mm-hmm.
They got financing in place, and then that you know it's poor management. But then they're like, "Oh, we have financing. Like you should close anybody." It's like
Yeah.
those are the people that have disputes and chargebacks on their Stripe account, and they're probably not going to be around for too much longer.
Yeah,
It's very short
exactly.
sighted.
It is, and there's offers out there like that. I mean, yeah, I'm quite privileged that I kind of I'm in a position that I don't have to go and find them anymore, and especially like working in the job I'm at, I don't really have to look too much but for anything now. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
something where I'd say, I think we've talked about it before. If you're seeing some red flags, you're like, oh no, next month will be better. The month after that will be better. Then just go with your instinct and probably look for something where it's a bit more morally or ethically with what you're looking for.
Yeah. I think, I mean, just like the mindset that you should have as a sales rep, like the whole abundance mindset thing. I think a lot of these guys land their first or second gigs and then they're not making the money, but they're like afraid that if they leave, they're not going to find another one. And it's
Yeah.
like, dude, that one took you 3 days to find. Like, just leave and find another one.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, I've
It's
just got a
silly.
mate who's kind of like got into the space, and he's like, I'm not too sure about this job, and I was like, well, you started looking 9 days ago, mate. Like you're already in a job. It's not so bad. And then take the experience and run with it as well. Like, okay, you've got a job. Learn from the experience. If it's not experience that, okay, I can put down on my resume that I've done X, Y, Z. Experience that next job. You know what to ask and you're not going to pussyfoot around it. Like, oh, how much you doing? What happened with the last blazer and that and the other. And I think we've even seen it before. I remember one person in the serious sales group, they basically done that and then they've asked the questions you told them to ask, and the person's been a dick to them because they've asked like very logical questions, and then luckily they found out before the job even fucking started, or otherwise it would have been horrible, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's it's like the wild wild west out there, and I think the best way to navigate it is like just to know people. Like, I think your friend getting into this because he knows you, it's just going to be so much easier.
Yeah,
um
exactly. It's just like saying the same things as you do to get started out. But I mean, for him, he's lucky because he can go to me. I was lucky because I got in serious sales and you taught me through it. But yeah, that like things like this, I just hope that there's people out there, if they do want to get into this, they look at the money. Yeah, the money can be great, but don't watch people in front of Lamborghinis on TikTok and YouTube and think it's easy to do it. Kind of like, let's just do it on my own and see what happens. Groups out there, and
yeah.
there's your group, there's Paid in Full and Ryan on TikTok have a group. There's Jay and David have a group. Like, there's things out there where you're going to see ROI. If the money is going to be great, just learn to network in that way. If it's something where it's not posting 100 tweets a day and hope one of them pops off, basically.
Yeah. Did you see that Iman Gadzhi is coming out with like a high ticket sales program?
I did, and yeah, I mean, it's something where he obviously knows where the money is. Sales is as old as dirt, like, and yeah, he's probably gonna make some good mullah from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see because his branding is always, well, it was marketing, then crypto, then SaaS, now it's sales. So he's taken on all the market basically, but it's obviously something that's going to be, it's
Yeah.
there to stay if you start investing money in it, basically.
Yeah, I'm just imagining the influx of kids who are going to get into that and then expect 10K a month in 90 days. And then it's just going to, like, I think the industry already has poor expectations around what's realistic
Mm-hmm.
based on where you start. And I mean, I feel like it's probably going to be a similar situation, but that's okay, man. It's a lot of other people to take the bad jobs for us. You know, like, I think you and I both, like, we're in a spot where we're a little bit more solidified. Like, we have our resumes behind us and we
Yeah.
know enough people to like make this work. But man, all those the wave of like 19 and 20-year olds that want to escape the matrix, like, they're in for a ride, man.
Yeah, I know. I always wonder if he's going to do like his agency incubator and then the sales and like put them together or something to promise him a job. But I mean, yeah, with that,
Mm,
but I mean, there's going to be potential that there's money there, but uh, like it's something where I always think it's good to have some sales training, but there has to be a level as well, which is understanding the wire framework of it if you want. But when you go into a business, if they're
yep.
doing well, they're gonna have the script, objections, call recordings, everything there. Like, you've got to be able to be personable on this. You've got to be able to actually like listen to people. You've got to have you don't see the cogs working when you're on sales calls. And yeah, like things like sales training, I think they're great, but things like Iman Gadzi, I'd be interested to know how long they're going to have it. If it's like a 3-month program and you're going across kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's always going to be something interesting the way that people of that magnitude are going to try and fucking sell that. So yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever invest in any sales training, like for high ticket sales or the agency?
Um, so when I done it, my focus was more around how sales works in the agency space, I guess. So Sam Ovens, Iman Gadzi, actually, they were two that I looked at straight away. And Sam Ovens was kind of like the OG. Like if you wanted to do it properly, you had to go with him.
Yeah.
And yeah, kind of built scripts around that way. And then I guess then as I came out of the agency, then I found people like Cole Gordon and whatnot who you go into. And yeah, I was guilty of
Yeah.
watching 50 different people to begin with because it was interesting, but then it becomes analysis paralysis on that behalf when then, discovery, pitch, close, objections, and everything that goes on there. So yeah, I might be
Yeah.
hated for it, but for
Who
me, I'm not the biggest fan of going all out on training when don't get me wrong, there's coaching at this level where I'm like, okay, I can go in the sales psychology, everything there is fine. But if you're going in as a beginner, learn the basics and then learn it on the job instead.
yeah. Yeah. It's like I think all these guys think that because they spend three, four, $5,000, it's like their version of like a college degree in high ticket sales. And it like really doesn't do much for you because there's so many people now who can say that they've invested in trainings. It's like I think it's backwards. I think if you're doing sales training just to have it on your resume, like I mean it's better than like not doing any like sitting on your ass playing video games, but it's like you should get some experience and then go and invest in sales training. You'll get a lot more out of it.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, that's why I built the community the way that I did because it's like new people in the space, they don't really need that much sales training. Like they just need to kind of be exposed to the reality of high ticket sales and like how to get hired, how to do all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. You've got,
yeah, I was curious.
yeah, sorry, you're asking.
No, that's why I was just curious, like if you had invested in any sales training.
Nah, not really. I think the way that I done it really was get on my first sales call, be absolutely shit at it, get on my second one, be slightly better, and then now be a 5 out of 10 when it comes to sales calls and hope that I close a deal here and there. But yeah, I
Yeah,
think that getting the reps in is something where it's important. And you've got to realize as well, from the psychology of a business owner's point of view, going into it, there's two things they're going to look at. They're going to look at third party, so network, people who trust you. Hey, have you worked with him? Do you know this guy? Okay, fantastic. I'll give him an interview. Second part is numbers. They don't care about training. Same as any other job. You get your degree, you get into your first job, then after that, no one gives a fuck about your degree. They're just wondering about your experience. They're wondering how much you've closed, what your percentage is of close rate, and things like that. And so really just get out there, get your reps in. And yeah, your first company isn't going to be working for fucking Tony Robbins and doing $500,000 a year. But you have to get the reps in to be able to start a shit job, get slightly better, get slightly better, get slightly better, and build it that way. And that's how I've done it. And yeah, really worked out all right so far.
yeah. How do you think you were? I mean, obviously, yes, you did have a track record, but what do you think made the guys at Client Ascension pick you over like all the other applicants?
Apart from my handsome good looks and my wonderful accent, to be honest, I think with jobs like that, and I know they kind of hire through their network because if they posted there's a job application, they're going to get 1,000 people and their dogs are applying for it as well. But I think with it,
Yeah.
it was culture fit, which I think, like, if you don't get one and it could be a culture fit reason, then it's going to work for both of you. And with that, there was probably the element of I understood the marketing game because I just done 3 years in marketing with my own agency, which helped. But kind of going into it, yeah, it's just, again, like beating the same drum, but network, and then just being able to build on the experience you have to get to a level where you can be considered for a job like that. And I don't know much about the other applicants. Don't like to ask about exes and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I think it was just like a combination of all the efforts that you've put in before, and then the network just like presented you with the opportunity and you aced it. So, I mean, it's easier for someone like you because I mean, you're not like 20 years old. You're not like, "Oh, I saw a YouTube video and I'm so hungry and I'm
Yeah.
motivated." It's like, no, you had like real world experience and you had like you were a cool dude and I mean, you fit the bill. But yeah, it's
And
I think a lot of the guys in high ticket sales, especially if they're coming from different industries, it's like they have a leg up because they actually have experience, like,
yeah,
and they're not
exactly. I
kids.
mean, it was the same as you coming from more of a, it was roofing sales, I think you came from. So yeah, having a bit of experience helps.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's something where, again, like it just came from being able to rely on that network. I'd have never have got that opportunity without it. And yeah, like I'm all for people messaging business owners trying to get in front of them that way. It's a fantastic way to do it. But yeah, for me, it was just being able to be around the right people and invest in being around the right people to fast track that, to be honest, because being perfectly real, if I'm just sliding into your DM saying, "Hey, do you know any sales jobs going on?" You probably get that about 10 times a day. It's like, well, what the fuck are you gonna do for me? And it's just the way the world
yeah,
works. Like, invest into a community like the one you're running, you're going to be able to, yeah, get the ROI to no end. So yeah,
yeah. You either use time
yeah,
or money, man. It's like, which one is it going to be? I think Hormozy's the one that says like, time is finite, money is infinite. So like, you're going to use the resource that doesn't get replenished. I mean, it's up to you, you know.
exactly.
Um, I want to ask you, like, if you tomorrow you like clean slate, you were brand new to high ticket sales, but you knew what you knew, like you were looking for a job, no connections, but you had the same knowledge. Like, how would you go and find the job? Like, knowing what you know now.
Yeah, great question. So, well, firstly, if I have no money whatsoever, I get onto Facebook groups, I message people, I accept a job where the OT is going to be 2K. With that, I make sure I'm saving 20%. So, marketing rule is 20% of what you're doing, put into growing. Save up that money, make sure then I get into a community where those bigger opportunities are going to be there and do it that way. So, that would be the focus there. If I have the money that I had going into it, again, I just invest into something straight away to fast track it. Like, I mean, you've already said it for me, like what
Yeah.
Mosey says, but yeah, it's something where I, I don't think people realize, like, especially when it's around sales and there's something there where it's that tangible. The money you can spend in one of these communities, and as I said, there's a few out there. If you can get into it, you're going to make the money back in a week. I mean, if you look at yours with the access
Yeah.
you get, make back in a week. But yeah, there's some crazy shit out there
Yeah.
with it. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, like, a lot of people are always shitting on the Facebook groups, and,
yeah,
like, rightfully so, dude. They're not the best place. But, dude, you were, like, murdering in there. You were like, every time I talk to you, it's like, oh, I got 3 interviews today. I got a job offer. And, like, it just goes to show, like, if you know what you're looking for and you actually just, like, do the work, then the opportunity's there. Um, and there's a few other guys in the group that are just like really tapped into like the Facebook thing. And dude, if you know what to stay away from, it's a really good like it's one of the best places you can be. Just
Yeah,
know
there's
what to
going to
stay
be some
away
shit
from.
in there, and like always will be. It's just how it is. There's people looking for people who can work for free as a setter or whatnot, something like that. But like if I'm going in,
Yep.
you want to separate yourself from the crowd, and I think this is what Justin done as well, who I think he's been on here. But basically, take the outbound deal.
Yeah.
If you're scared to call people at any point, you got to get over it if you want to stick out and you want to get a job where you're going to get some money in. If you go in and even if you've done it for a month, might be the worst fucking month of your life where you're just blasting cold calls and whatnot. Then you go in, you go, oh yeah, I've done a month of that. I'm looking for an inbound role. You're going to straight away be seen as someone who's going to be more. If you think this is going to be an easy ride to get to the 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 promised land of 10K a month, it won't be like that. But name me another career path where you can in fucking 6 months go from zero to being offered jobs that are going to be that kind of money. Like, just take your finger out your ass and actually put some effort in, and you can
Yeah.
get there relatively quickly as long as you've got that work ethic.
Yeah. What do you think? I mean, you've seen a lot of different salespeople. You've been on a lot of like different teams. Like, what are some of the traits of like the guys who actually make this work and versus like those who don't?
Um, yeah, good question. So I think not being butthurt when you're on a shit deal, basically realizing it's just a shit deal doesn't mean the whole industry's shit, and going out and trying again, hitting on some more doors and getting into a different job. Um, Putting your ego at the door. So with all the sales teams, I've always been very like high on communication with all of them. If they're doing better than me, I'll let them know I want to learn from them, and if I'm doing better than them, like I'll be there to help as I can. And yeah, it's something where I think that they're the big things for me. Just being able to keep going because you will be on shit offers as someone who starts out, and being able to communicate to get a
Yeah.
good picture of how to get better at this, and speaking to people who are better at this and accepting they're better than you and you're not the dog's bollocks when it comes to sales.
Yeah, that was one thing about me when I kind of like jumped in with 2 feet. Like I didn't know how to do it, but I knew it was possible, and I was just like, dude, if they can do it, so can I. And I had money saved up, and I was just like, I know it's possible. I don't know how yet, but I'm gonna figure it out because there's no other option because I just quit my job and ultimately, figured it out. But yeah, dude, I think a lot of it really, really comes down to mindset, but also the expectations, dude, because a lot of people out there selling programs are putting crazy expectations, like crazy, like, oh, in 90 days, you'll make this much money. It's like, well, it depends on a lot of factors. It depends your background and like just your opportunities that you're exposed to and what you know and, you know, all
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah,
So,
there's a lot of
yeah, dude, mindset's
existential
huge.
circumstances that can affect how you go. But yeah, it's something where you got to be able to go through that. And I mean, if there are people listening from that, I said like 18, 21 bracket, and they've not really had to experience kind of like real world of like a career and everything like that. If you can go through that shit and like compare that to going into an internship in some like big ass FTSE 500 business or whatever, where you're not making money, but there's a promised land in a couple of years that you might be offered an entry level job. If you go through the shit here, you you keep humble, you keep your feet on your ground, you know that there is something there, then you're going to strike gold eventually, and then yeah, be able to get to where you want to be before you're fucking 25 even. I'm 30 doing this, so if you can do it before me by 5 years, then you're not doing too bad.
Yeah, dude. There's some of these guys out here, they're like 17, 18, 19. I'm like, damn, dude, if I knew what I know now at that age, like it would be a different story. I mean, I do fine now. I'm happy with where I'm at, but it's like some of these guys in the group, like there's a dude, Jalen, shout out Jalen. I think he's 17 now, but he was 16 when he joined. I was like, dude, this kid
Mm.
is a beast. And he's super smart too. So like, yeah, I think, man, it's a if you have the risk tolerance, it's a really good spot to get into. And then you learn so much too, dude. Like just from you being on the
Mm.
offer that you're on now, I mean, you already had prior knowledge of running a business and all that, but I'm sure you've learned a lot that, if you wanted to go and start your own thing again, like it's just going to be that much
Yeah,
easier.
absolutely. I mean, when it comes to, I think it's something, if you look at more like the traditional businesses, like 95% of CEOs come from sales, because you have to learn a whole side of business. You have to learn to be able
Yep.
to have that business talk. And just through that, you're going to be able to learn how a business operates and everything there. So there is so much to do going into sales. It's just that long-term vision to be able to see what there is out there. Do you want to just take your money, sit on it? Okay, if you do, fair enough. If you want to learn how a business runs and now you know that, amazing. If you want to then take that money, invest it in whatever, then amazing. But there is so much to come from this side of anything business wise that you can go and yeah, explore and grow with.
Yeah. That being said, man, I'm curious. Like, I know right now you're earning more than you're spending in Mexico. Like tequila is flowing like water. It's all good. Like Mexico's cool. But like, where do you plan on going with it? Like, do you have intentions of eventually starting up another agency or something like that?
Yeah, good question. I mean, for me, I think I'm at a stage now where I want to start growing into more like, after managing the team before with my own stuff, being able to then be able to be sales manager, director of sales, and move in that way. And yeah, like I think that's something that, again, down to communication, let that be known on offers you're on. But yeah, I think that's going to be my 3-year plan, to be able to get to that kind of like director level. And again, being around people like yourself,
Yeah.
Justin as well, who you've mentioned already, Jay, who I'm working with, David, who's done his own thing, who I work with. Like, it's amazing people to be around that. Yeah, it always
Yeah.
gives you the right direction, or a compass to move in anyway.
Yeah, dude. It like when you meet enough people and you can provide value to them in some way or shape or form or whatever, like it becomes hard to fail. Like it does. And if you know something, right? So like sales, I know sales. I mean, the people you just listed, they're all pretty much sales guys. So like, we all kind of have that in common. But even people outside of sales, like I'm sure you've met people now who aren't sales guys and actually they really need sales guys and they really like could use consulting and they can use help like that. Like it only takes that one connection for you to find that sales rep, the ladder from sales rep to sales manager,
Mm,
VP of sales, like all that. And yeah, I mean, it's been like about a year now since the community started and since, I mean, we've kind of
yeah,
been on
man.
that pursuit. And if this is what happens in a year, like dude, what happens in like 2 or 3,
Exactly that.
it's
And
crazy.
I think that's for both of us. That, I mean, starting out, I think I joined and there was maybe like 13 people in the group, including yourself, or something small like that. And yeah, like seeing that grow, who
Yeah.
knows in 3 years what serious sales be, who knows what I'll be doing. Hopefully not anything drug related in Mexico, but probably more sales related. But yeah, yeah, there's just so much growth when it comes to it. It is just, and it's what I do in my sales skills as well, mate. Like, give value. If it does fit, perfect. I'm not there to push someone who it's going to be a shit decision for, essentially. And same, like, just give the right advice. And yeah, as you
Yeah.
said, through that, you're going to meet people who you can help along the way, and they'll pay you good money for it, hopefully.
Yeah. I like your like approach to sales. It's genuinely, it's not like a dickish approach, like, but it's like very laid back and it's like, dude, if you need help, man, we can help you. And then you're able to like provide value behind that. And then something that I've taken from you actually, and I think others in the community have, is the whole like
I'm gonna level with you,
leveling
yeah.
thing. And it became like a little joke for a while, but like, dude, it's a good strategy. I guess that would be like cool for the audience to hear. Like, what is the leveling thing? Like, how do you implement that in the
Yeah,
calls?
absolutely. Like with it from the off, like it in that whole rapport building stage, it's something where I'll try and make a joke about myself, about whatever, if I'm in Mexico, wherever they are, something like that, and make it a very chilled environment. Of course, you go through and you're saying it's casual conversation, but I'm trying to make it very obvious it is. And when it comes to it, they're there to grow their business, and there's some sectors we can't work with. And yeah, from there, it's something where I'm not trying to fuck them off the phone because their business is shit or whatever. It's just something where at that point, hey man, I'm going to level with you, probably help you with this. But before you go, I don't want you to be fucked off because I can't do this, that, and that. These are options that I have seen work in this industry and move from that. And then, yeah, because as well, it's something where you do that for them, and I'm the face of the business that I'm working for when I'm doing that. They know we're trustworthy. It then helps that then they go, oh, I talked to this guy Jordan. Here's his link, booking a call, nice sale that way, and they know it's a lot trustworthy then, which can happen. So yeah, the whole thing is just make it very very chilled. See if you
Yeah,
can help, and then from there go from there. I mean, a lot of people do speak about it. It's the approach of trying to disqualify people, but in the right way, because you don't want to waste their time rather than waste your time, kind of thing.
yeah. But you've also used it in like an
Oh
objection
yeah,
handling
of
sense,
course,
right?
that as well. Like if you've gone through the call and you've had that kind of rapport, and you're at that point, which of course you come to, which is I'd say middle of the call if you want to do it that way, because of course then you got to talk to them about everything after pricing. If they're giving you some bullshit and you've just gone through it with you and you just spoke
Yeah.
about everything, yeah, you got to be like, look, come on, man, I'm going to level with you. I'm not going to use this sales psychology of, oh yeah, that sounds great. Like, what would happen if the partner says no? I'm going to be like, look, I'm going to level with you, man. Like, this is your business. Like, I understand you. Are they part of the business? Is it you're talking to them because of the finance? Is it this? Is it that? And then yeah, they're quite open, or they are very open with it. And then of course, then you use a bit of the psychology of Cole Gordon of okay, so you're telling me the program's great, and you link back to it and stuff. But yeah, just breaking through the bullshit that you're gonna hear in this industry. You have 10 calls a day, you're gonna hear the same objection across a week 5 times, so you know it's fucking coming. So yeah, just
Hmm.
breaking that, making sure everything's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a question. Oh, yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
you've been on some offers. You've had your own offer. You've sold a lot of different things. Like in your mind, how important is the
Everything,
offer? Like when
everything.
it comes to sales?
You you can put a great salesperson into a shit offer and they won't sell. You can put a mediocre salesperson into a great offer and they'll close probably below par, but they will close. So for me, the offer is everything. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, so if that fucks off a few
Yeah.
sales coaching
I agree
programs,
with you,
but yeah,
man.
it's going to be more. The offer is going to be 60% of the work with that.
Yeah, it's like I would rather front load the work of finding a good offer and selling myself to them than like not putting in the front end work and then getting on a shitty offer and then having to work like twice as hard for half the results. Like, dude, the offer
Mm-hmm.
is it's everything. Like, you're not going to get that offer with no experience either. Like, you got to, well, one, get experience and you have to meet people. Similar to like the one that you're on, you said they hired, through word of mouth. It wasn't like some public posting. And dude, I know, managers and growth partners associated with a lot of these big teams, and they do not post the shit publicly. Like the biggest names out there, the biggest coaching programs, they are not posting in Facebook groups,
Yeah.
which is how it goes. So use your sales ability to land a good job. And I think especially for setters and SDRs, that is like a direct reflection of how good you are at your job. It's like can you get these opportunities in your pipeline? It's a little bit different, but still, it's
Yeah,
like the
I
same
mean,
principle,
again, if your goal is to make a career in sales, you've got to be able to sell yourself to these programs, and it is going to be reaching out to them, being able to be on interviews and being able to sell yourself that you can be a valuable member of that team. And yeah, if you can't do that, because it's not going to be these great
Yeah.
jobs that are going to land on your lap, because if you get to a point, let's say you're starting afresh, 6-8 months time, you've got the experience, you've got a few six-figure deals under, or you've sold six figures and so on and so forth. Now it's time to look for bigger deals. You're one of 1,000 people in that situation. If then you're thinking, well, I've worked this hard to get here, you're not going to make it any further than that. You have to be able to go out to them and really stand out. And yeah, if you're in sales, sell yourself and make that money.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, shoot, man. I have back-to-back sales calls for the next 2 hours starting in 2 minutes here. Um, so that's fun. But I wanted to give you the floor. Like, where do you want people
Yeah,
to
I mean,
find
as I
you?
said earlier, I'm on Twitter at Jordan_Worth, I think it is. But yeah, if there's any questions, yeah, my DMs are open. But if you're going to ask me to connect you with my job, then that's not the way to do it, guys. Like, it's not how it works.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got to message
exactly
him in
that,
the
exactly that.
community. You'll only get to connect to the
Yeah,
job if you're
that's
in
the
the
pathway.
community. No,
But
I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
like literally, if there's anything I can help with there, I'm there to help. And yeah, from there, if you're in the same situation as me, then yeah, just whenever someone's in your DMs, make sure you're not ghosting them and do the same.
Yeah. Sweet, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. You guys listening. This guy, Jordan, is a good guy to have in your corner. Reach out to him. If you're in the community, you've probably seen him around. If you haven't, then you're probably not using the community. So, um, yeah, guys, appreciate you listening, making it this far. And Jordan, thanks
Always a
again for
pleasure
coming
to talk
on.
to you, man. Always a pleasure. Now go level with people on your next couple calls. All right,
For
have a good
sure.
one,
All
man.
right, man. I'll catch you later. Appreciate it.